while we're at it, talk about these other L1s. Dot. You mentioned Solana, so we should talk about it at least as far as what your thoughts are there. Is there anything else that is relevant? Obviously, I've spoken to the guys at AVAX and a few others on this show. Do these other L1s, is there a scenario where they will play some role somewhere? Is it still possible that they're going to become relevant? Obviously, Dot is sometimes more of a little bit of a layer 0, so allowing kind of a customization of that potentially to what your own layer 1 is. What do you see on those? And these are all in the top 10 market cap, so people can go take a look.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely think there's a lot of layer 1s that have come to play. They've got big money behind them. A lot of the big money that was behind Avalanche was Three Arrows Capital. So I don't know if they actually got all the funding from them before they went bust, or if it was on a time frame. That might be something to look into. Of course, we know Avalanche was recently embroiled in a scandal involving an attorney that was going around trying to trash other platforms. I think that's the gist of the story. What the reality is, I'm not 100% sure. Avalanche, obviously denied that they were actually involved in it. This guy was, Roshman Freed, I think was the name of the attorney's office, and they were saying he was just running on his own and all this stuff. I don't know what's true, what's not true. But Avalanche is an interesting one because it definitely popped up out of nowhere in the last bull run. And it did really well. It performed well. We were big on Avalanche. We made a lot of money on Avalanche. It was very, very, very solid. But it did not actually end up having the two projects, the three projects that were the most known on Avalanche. Number one is the DEX Trader Joe's, and I think it's still doing pretty well. The other two were Olympus DAO and Wonderland, and they both went bust, and they were terrible. Now, that was built on top of the Avalanche infrastructure, so it's kind of like looking at a DApp built on Ethereum. Just because the DApp fails doesn't mean Ethereum's bad. But two of the top three projects that were on Avalanche went bust, and I don't know what that says necessarily, but I do know that isn't necessarily a good look. So when it comes to Avalanche, it's one I'm up in the air on. They've got a lot to prove. I think over the next bull cycle, I would not say that I'm bearish on Avalanche. I also wouldn't say I think it's going to be the number one performing coin of the bull run, because I don't think it's going to be. Obviously, I've already spoken about Cardano. Solana is a joke. Look, Solana is 100% just driven by VC money. It's a money printing machine. You look at Decentraland, a metaverse project that is completely backed by the digital currency group. I put it in that same kind of category. Like, it sucks, but it's still going to make money because it's got VC money behind it. So as far as a blockchain goes, Solana is probably the worst one out of all the ones in the top 50. I would say I don't even think that's close, to be honest with you. I think Polkadot's got a chance to make a lot of big waves. We've really yet to see what Polkadot can do. The infrastructure is being built out. The parachain auctions occurred last year. We had the first ones, Kala Network, that had a gigantic disaster happen recently. We had a Moon River was another one that I think won one of those parachain auctions, and I think they've had a few problems recently. I think maybe Clover Finance was another one. I don't remember the other two. But I haven't seen anything from any of those projects. I haven't seen anything built on them. And are they being built? Sure, I'm sure they are. I'm sure people that are heavily invested into Polygon or into Polkadot know a little better than I do at the moment. But I think Polkadot's one to definitely consider. I think it could slide up and end up being the number 3. I have heard some negative points from some people just based on the idea that their whole focus is on interoperability, and that focus on interoperability, while it's important, it solves one of the big 3 in the blockchain trilemma of scaling. How do you scale? That it may not necessarily be, or of interoperability, it may not necessarily be like mainstream enough for the masses to use. It focuses so much on interoperability. Maybe it didn't focus enough on some other areas. That's just what some detractors that know a little bit more of the coding and the infrastructure of Polkadot have mentioned to me. I do know other people that are extremely bullish on Polkadot. So I kind of slot Polkadot in the number 3 spot behind Cardano. I think it's got a lot of potential. We don't know exactly what it can do after that. You of course have Tron. Tron is garbage. Tron is garbage. I would stay away from Tron for sure. Cosmos, another really interesting one. We love Atom. ATOM is the ticker. I think Cosmos has a lot of potential. Cosmos is kind of like that kid on the baseball team who he doesn't do anything flashy, but he gets the job done and he works harder than everybody else. that tends to be what I think Cosmos is. They got a lot of great stuff with the Tendermint, BFT infrastructure that underlies everything. Many other projects are built on top of that Tendermint. Cosmos, they've really not done a great job of marketing, but they got a fantastic product. I think Cosmos is another one to really, really keep your eye on. And then you just keep going down the list. I mean, there's plenty of other ones.
Algorand?
Obviously,
you got thoughts on Algorand?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Algorand and HBAR. Those are two coins that I'm really looking at for this next bull run, 2-layer ones. And I'm really looking at them saying, these have a lot of potential. I kind of look at Algorand or HBAR as being possibly like the next Solana, and obviously I don't mean the next crappy blockchain. What I mean by that is, the price speculation that occurred with Solana in the last bull run. Look, we've not seen one coin be the number one coin of multiple bull runs. You don't see that. The number one, do you know what the number one coin of the last bull run was?
No, what?
Shiba.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I know it's a joke, right? Literally, it's a joke. Shiba, Dogecoin, and Moonswap, or not Moonswap, SafeMoon were actually the top three performers. All Dogecoin a little more credibility than the other two. The other two absolute garbage. We called SafeMoon hot garbage from the very beginning, and a lot of people got hurt by it. They didn't listen. A lot of people got hurt by Shiba. The people that got in early on those won. Outside of those projects, Solana was very high up on the list on top performers. So most likely, even though it is a VC money printing machine, most likely it's not going to perform as well price speculation wise as it did in the last run. And that opens up the potential. Of course, Terra Luna was another one of the top performers. We know what's happened to it. It's a joke at this point, not even worth mentioning really. But I'm looking for Algorand and HBAR to have similar Solana type runs and really hit the mainstream in the next cycle.
Yeah, I had Silvio Macaulay on the show, and he's an
Smart
MIT
guy.
Yeah, he's an MIT professor. I went there too, and I really like him. And I've been getting to know the guys over there in BizDev and some of the guys at HiveMind, which is kind of their $1.5 billion fund. And I'm talking to one of the guys this week, and I've been pretty impressed with what they're doing. They obviously bought into Napster, sponsoring the FIFA. Anthony Scaramucci of Skybridge Capital, who I've known for a while. He was on our show a couple years ago. He's gone big on them, wrote a book about Algorand, and
Really?
yeah, I was like, okay, I didn't see the mooch going in so heavy on Algorand. He's been impressed by it, so I must say I'm with you. I'm expecting some big things coming from them. They're putting a lot of money into their biz dev and acquisitions and grants for people building things on Algorand. So I think there's something to say there for sure.
Well,
so,
I think with Silvio Macaulay,
yeah,
specifically. I'm just so fascinated by him. Like the idea that he is the godfather of cryptography.
Yeah.
And he was working on cryptography before most crypto CEOs were born. Like, think about that. Yeah. He actually invented zero knowledge proofs, which if you don't know what those are, if you hear, ZK snarks, you hear ZK rollups, that ZK stands for zero knowledge. He was the basis for all of that. He started that. He was the one that pushed that forward, I think back in the 80s or early 90s. Yeah. Been at MIT forever. So that to me is always made me bullish on Algorand, knowing they have one of the godfathers of the entire space working on what they got.
Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I am just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you got to pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.